Fantastic. That's smiling.
Hello, Con. Welcome.
Yeah, Jim, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
It's
Here we are again.
Here we are again. Good to be back. Take 4.
Take 4. Let's call it episode 4.
Episode 4. That's
Yeah. How do we go?
We did well. We did well. Again, a lot of positive feedback. I wanted to unpack today a little bit more of what we talked about last week.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I know that I did promise everybody to talk about Mecca this week, but some things have happened that made me that have required a little bit more unpacking. In that, the Muslim scholar Yasser Qadhi that we mentioned at the end of last episode, where he talked about how no one in the Western academia accepts the Hadith science as historical. Well, since after that comment, he then gave a more extended response to an Islamic audience.
Yeah.
And it was a really interesting video to watch. Again, being very academically honest. And I wanted to unpack that a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah. What did he say?
Well, firstly, just to revise what we talked about, because I think you said before, why don't we just follow the Quran? Remember that?
Yeah.
And I said, no, we can't. You can't be a Muslim just from the Quran, because the Quran doesn't give you any of the 5 pillars.
Yeah.
And so the vast majority of Muslims in the world require not only the Quran, but also they have to follow the Sunnah of the Prophet. The Sunnah is the example and teachings of Muhammad. And you get that from the traditions.
Yeah.
To recap, the Hadith, which are the sayings of Muhammad, the Sirah, which is the biographies of Muhammad, the Tafsir, which I might get these two wrong, but anyway, the commentaries, which are these Muslim scholars have commentated on Hadith and the Quran, and the histories. Yeah. So they're altogether they're the traditions, and if you're going to be a good Muslim, then you have to follow the Sunnah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what Hadith. This is what Yasser Qadhi said, and I'm going to quote here: "There is no Islam without the Sunnah of the Prophet. Allah didn't just send a book; He sent a messenger to explain the book. There is no religion without the 2 sources of the Quran and the Sunnah, and the Sunnah is preserved through the Hadith of the Prophet." Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So the bottom line is that. Hopefully you can see, Jim, that can we have Islam without the Hadith?
Yeah. Doesn't seem like it. They take it seriously,
right.
Yeah.
That's right. We can't have Islam without the Hadith. So people who want to be a Quran-only Muslim, they really, in my opinion, it's only my humble opinion, they can't really be true Muslims, because how can they follow the example of the Prophet?
In the same way Christians say, well, chapter and verse, because we take what's in the Bible, what's been recognized as canon.
That's right.
And we don't, to say, oh, look at the Bible and also a particular commentary.
Yes.
That's not what we do.
That's right. But also, we don't take just certain parts of the Bible that we agree with and leave the rest. The difference is, as we covered last time, we don't need a separate set of traditions to the Bible. Or to the Gospels to know about Jesus and the teachings of Jesus. Everything is there.
It's all in there.
It's all in there. Whereas the Quran's not like that, right? So let's go on to... So firstly, Yasser Qadhi said that bottom line is you have to have the Hadith to be a practice, to be a Muslim. He says there is no Islam without the Hadith. So that's the first thing. Then he went on to talk about the historical method in more detail, and I found this really fascinating. So basically, he called it the historical critical method, and it basically was a series of tests that were developed in the 17th, 18th, 19th centuries by some thinkers in Europe who were not Christians. Okay, they were not Christians, and they thought to themselves, so how are we going to look at the Bible? How are we going to view the Bible if we don't believe what the Bible says theologically? Right? So they developed this method called the historical critical method to say, okay, how can we analyze the Bible historically and see whether or not we agree with its claims? And so, that's how they did that. And what Yasser Qadhi claims is that the historical method, those scholars concluded that Jesus never really intended to claim he was the Son of God. Okay, now I would disagree with that, but that's what those scholars were studying. And interestingly, he says that Muslims would agree with that. he said, this is a quote from him, by and large, we as Muslims would agree with the conclusions that they have about the Bible. Okay? So, what do you think of that, Jim? I mean, is it reasonable? Okay, is it reasonable what they did to the Bible? Study as historical document.
Oh yeah, look, the Bible is the most looked up, critically looked at document. It's also the most popular book.
That's right. Has the Bible sunk since has Christianity sort of
going strong? Yeah,
it's gotten stronger and stronger.
Very strong, yeah.
Okay, and the Bible makes, or the Gospels make historical claims, don't they? We keep on coming back to that. We can't get away from that. They make historical claims. So are we going to use the scientific method to test them?
No.
No, we've got to use what are we going to use?
The historical method.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, then, is it reasonable then? You tell me, Jim. Is it reasonable then to use the historical method to examine the historical claims of Islam?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's no surprise that, as Yasser Qadhi said about 100 years ago, and they started looking at the Quran, and about 50 to 70 years ago, they start looking at the Hadith. All right. And you and I would agree, correct, that it's reasonable to use the historical method to examine those, right? Now, let's look at what Yasser Qadhi says, however.
Yeah.
He says, this is where we have to say we will not agree with those tools on our faith tradition. All right? He says, we will have to disagree. He says, those tools are coming from a non-faith-based paradigm. But hang on, aren't we talking about history?
Yeah.
What's the problem? If what we believe in is true and is historical, do we have a problem with people looking at it from a non-faith-based paradigm? Is it a problem? No, we don't. You see, because if we're on solid ground, if our foundation is rock, like we say, we've got no problem with that. But if your foundation is sand, oh no, you can't touch that. Because if you start digging, you'll find sand underneath, right? And he says that if they're not going to accept the Quran as from Allah, why should they accept the Hadith as from the Prophet? That's a good question. Why should we? All right. And interestingly, then he goes on to say, the historical method begins with a paradigm of skepticism. It does not understand the reality of Iman. Now, I need to explain what he means by Iman. Iman just means belief. Just believe. Believe because I'm a good bloke.
Yeah.
Believe because the companions of the Prophet would never lie.
Bit of a blind faith sort of thing.
Yeah. Blind faith.
Yeah.
Just believe. All right. And he says that when you have Iman, when you have this belief, right, you just believe that it's impossible for the companions of Muhammad to fabricate things, right? And then he says that if you don't have Iman, if you don't live in a bubble of Iman, he used that term, bubble of Iman, then you're skeptical. Yeah. So, and then he said, this is almost like it's a paraphrase, but basically what he said was the statement, well, let me ask you this, Jim. This statement, that he says that the companions of the Prophet would never lie about the Prophet, is that something empirically based or is it faith-based? What do you think?
Faith-based.
Faith-based. Yeah. Empirically based means we can test it with something independent. Can we test that claim that they make? Like historically, can we test it? Do we have any other? If we don't have any other people backing them up,
no, we can't test it.
You can't test it. So is it empirical based or is it faith based?
It's faith based.
It's faith based, exactly. Right. And so,
what's the bottom line?
The bottom line, Jim, is that Muslims, they believe the historicity of the Hadith because they live in a bubble of belief. A bubble of Iman. And basically what they're saying is they can be confident that their Hadith are historical because they believe in the science of Isnad, which is Hadith analysis, which says that Hadith are historical. I believe that the Hadith are historical because...
It's a circular argument.
It is, that's exactly right. I believe that they're historical because Isnad, which is the science of Hadith, says it's historical. Exactly, that's a circular argument. So... as it says there, like what he's basically saying is that we should accept it either historical because Muslims say they're historical. But here's a question. Why should we? Why should non-believers in Islam accept it just because they said so?
The same standard?
Yeah. Why isn't it reasonable to apply the same standard?
That
apply to the Bible?
Yeah. It's perfectly reasonable.
If you're right, if we're going to go and share our faith with people, and we want them to, and so believe in the gospel, and they say why?
Yeah.
Because I said so. Is that reasonable?
No.
No. Okay. They can't just believe because we said so. And it's a little bit like this. I mean, I think people will get. Let's say, Jim, you're the bank manager.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a bank manager. You're sitting there. I come along and I say, Jim, I want to borrow some money. I want to borrow $1 million to buy a house.
Yeah.
And what's the first question you ask me?
How are you going to pay it back?
Don't worry about that, Jim.
Yeah.
I'm a good bloke.
Make it happen. Yeah.
I'll never lie. I'll pay you back.
Okay. Yeah.
Will the bank lend me the money?
No.
No.
I've seen a few people like you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're going to say, hang on, Con. Okay. I know we're friends.
We'll check a few things first.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we'll see.
You'll see. That's right. You're going to say, Con, we're friends, but business is business. Where's your security? Where's your deposit? Where are your bank statements?
Yeah.
Do you have a job, Con? See, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's that, but that example, I know it's facetious, but that's basically what they're asking us to do.
Yeah.
We're asking us to accept that the companions of the Prophet would never lie about Muhammad because Islam says they would never lie.
Sure.
Yeah. So, just like the bank wouldn't accept anything that without independent verification, we as non-Muslims are perfectly entitled to ask for independently verifiable evidence that the Stand Islamic narrative is true before we believe it. I mean, we do that with non-believers as Christians. So why should we allow Muslims
so
to
there's a double standard there.
100% is a double standard.
Yeah. So why is it okay to apply the historical critical method to Christianity?
That's right. Well,
but not Islam, yeah?
Mate, I'm 100%. I think it's not okay. I think it's you've got to apply. It's not okay not to apply the historical critical method to Islam.
Yeah.
If you can, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Right? You can apply the historical method, which is the only method we have really to look at history. Or let me qualify that. Okay, if Yasser Qadhi doesn't like the historical critical method invented by those people, well, let's have another historical method. But it's a historical method.
Yes.
Independently, empirically verifiable, not a faith-based method.
Yeah.
You see the difference?
Sure. Yeah.
So, all right, Yasser, you don't like our HCM, historical, make up your own.
Sure.
Put together another one. But make sure there's independent, verifiable stuff. We don't want just a faith-based method. And, it's like if we're going to be talking about the laws of physics and making claims about, gravity and stuff like that, what method would we use?
Scientific method.
Scientific method, that's right. We wouldn't use the historical method, would we?
No.
So in the same way, you can't use the scientific method to examine historical claims, as we talked about before. Yeah. So if we're examining claims about history, then we basically have to use the historical method. Now, if you want to, can you indulge me in another example of the double standard, Jim?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Have you heard of Zakir Naik?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Yeah. And Ahmadiyya were before him. I think Zakir Naik, maybe
it's a bit of a one-way conversation. I've noticed.
Yes.
Those things.
Yeah, they just yell at you, right? But he uses that and he's not the only one. Muslims use this argument, I've seen people do impersonations of Zakir Naik. I won't do that because that would be disrespectful. But basically, he says, "Show me one unequivocal statement in the Gospels where Jesus, he says peace be upon him, says, 'I am God, worship me.'" He says, "If you can show me one unequivocal statement where Jesus uses those exact words, 'I am God, worship me,' I will become a Christian." Right now. That's a problem. The problem with that, it's called the exact words fallacy. Now, do you know what that means, the exact word fallacy?
Tell us. No.
Okay. Well, basically, it's a fallacy where you demand the exact words of something. Now, the reality is, you don't need the exact words if you have an exact description.
Yeah.
Okay? If you have an exact description, if the description in the Gospels where Jesus does everything that is
qualifies
as God and divine, right, in great detail, like what he says about himself, what other people say about him. They call him the Son of God. The demons call him the Son of God. His enemies call him the Son of God, right? Then all of that means he's the Son of God. And, you know, I'll give you an example, right? You know, I'll give you an example of the exact words fallacy. It's a little bit of a, you know, it's not a parable, but it's a metaphor. Let's pretend, okay, you don't know who I am, all right, but you know about my country, and I say to you, you say, who are you? And I say to you, well, I'm the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. I am recognised by all the citizens of the United States of America as the man with the most authority in the land. I sign off on all of the bills of parliament that are passed by the Congress. And the enemies of the United States, if they want to deal with the United States, they deal through me. So who am I?
President.
Hang on. I never used those exact words. I never said I'm the president. But see how stupid that is? It's obvious I'm the president. Do I need to use those exact words that I'm the president?
No.
No, because when you see all that, you know, there's an exact description. Right? So that's hopefully that illustrates the problem with the exact words fallacy. We don't need the exact words if we've got an exact description. Now, this exact words fallacy actually comes back to bite Muslims because they believe that Jesus, or they call him Isa, is a word from Allah and a spirit from him. Now, they believe that based on Quran chapter 4, verses 171. Now, here's the challenge. It's not Jesus making that claim. Jesus doesn't say it. It's the author of the Quran that says it. So, if they're going to say, whereas one unequivocal statement where Jesus in the Gospel says, I am God, worship me, can't I turn around and say, or you turn around and say, well, hang on, give me one unequivocal statement in the Quran where Jesus says, I am a word from Allah and a spirit from him. You know, and, you know, if they can't do that, then they fail their own test. Right? Now, what the Muslim will come back and say is he'll say, oh, no. We believe that the Quran is Kalam Allah. It's the word of Allah. We can believe it. We can trust it because it's the word of Allah. Well, hang on. Double standard here. You know, what's John 1:1, John? Can you recite that?
The beginning was the Word.
And the Word
was with God. And the Word was God.
Was God, 100%. Do we believe that's the Word of God? We do. So why can't we believe that if the Muslim can believe Quran 4:171? Right? So I know that's a little bit slightly off topic because it's in the Quran, but it highlights the double standards that Muslims use a lot of the time. Not all Muslims, to be fair. I don't want to misrepresent everybody, but a lot of them use the double standards. They will allow one method to be applied to the Bible and to us and to critique the Trinity. They won't allow that to be applied. They'll say, no, we just believe. Right? So I guess the bottom line...
what's the bottom line?
The bottom line, mate, is if a Muslim wants to make historical claims, they have to have their claims tested with historical method. They can't get away from that. And let me ask you this, Jim, and maybe we can finish off with the gospel, you know? You tell me, have we had to have our claims tested robustly with historical method?
For sure. I mean, when you look at apologetics conversations about the gospel and when it was written, you know, the next questions are, but it was written in 300 years later, for example. But then we have to say, well, no, that's not true.
That's right.
It's actually written in the lifetime.
That's right. And we have, you know, archaeological evidence. They actually found the Pool of Siloam, for example. You know, they found all of Jerusalem has been excavated, and they found, you know, like a lot of the stuff that...
It's like archaeological...
That's right. There's an inscription that's got Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea. You know, there's another inscription where Paul talks about when in the book of Acts, when he goes to Corinth, and he talks about the proconsul Gallio, I think. Well, there's an inscription. This inscription in the year, I think it's 53 AD, when Gallo was the proconsul of Achaia, which is Greece.
Sure.
So we don't have a problem with that, right? Okay, and Christianity stood the test of time. The torpedoes have been fired at our ship.
Yeah.
Has it sunk?
For a while.
For a while now. Has it sunk?
No, it just gets better
Yeah.
by the day.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And so I guess I'll finish off with a question, okay, to you, Jim. Okay. Based on everything we've looked at,
Yeah.
well, two questions. Do we have any eyewitness sources for anything from the 7th century for the Islamic narrative?
Eyewitness sources
From the 7th century?
from the 7th century.
Yeah, do we have anything?
I don't believe so.
No, that's right. And the Hadith, based on what, we've talked about the problems with the traditions. Remember that?
Yeah.
Even after hearing what Yasser Qadhi has done to try and defend the traditions, can we consider them historical?
No.
No. Because he tried to defend it and tried to say, well, we can, but no, we can't.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, let's go back to that question. His belief that the Hadith are historical, is that empirically based or is it faith-based?
Faith-based.
Faith-based, that's right. And so I think that really, hopefully people can see that what they're claiming, everything they claim about Muhammad, Mecca, and the Quran, they can't back that up with eyewitness testimony from the 7th century.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Yeah, I learned a few new things. The distinction between what's in the Quran and the Hadith, and more information about Muhammad is in the Hadith.
Yes,
where you would expect it to be in the
100%
in the Quran. Yeah,
we're jumping ahead a little bit, but how many times do you think Muhammad is mentioned by name in the Quran?
I believe 4, which is a low number.
Yes, you've been doing your homework. Yes,
did I get it? Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
4. All right. Do you know Pharaoh is mentioned more times than Muhammad?
And Jesus is also mentioned
30 times, 25 times by name.
Yeah.
Pharaoh, I think, is mentioned 70 times.
Right. Okay.
Abraham, Moses is mentioned. Now, okay, let's compare that with the Bible, right? So the Torah, right?
Yeah.
Because they talk about the Torah and the Gospel. Okay, the Torah, that's the first 5 books of the Bible, right? Okay, so who do Christians believe wrote the Torah?
Moses.
Moses, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think he's mentioned 600 times.
Yeah.
Okay, now that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because he wrote it.
Yeah.
And it's about him. He's,
Yeah. And it's all historical narratives.
Yeah.
Such and such thing happened at this time in this place. And
he was a key figure, wasn't he? In the whole Exodus and Leviticus and Deuteronomy, in the whole sort of Exodus from Egypt and then in the wilderness and going into the promised land. He was the man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So you expect to talk about a lot. You mention him a lot of times.
Sure.
Okay, the Gospels in the New Testament. Who's the man? Who's the key figure in the Gospels in the New Testament?
Well, you got the disciples.
But who's the key man?
Jesus, yes.
Jesus, that's right.
Course,
that's what I said. Who's the man?
Yes.
Right? The man. Well, do you know how many times Jesus is mentioned in the New Testament by name?
No.
900.
Right, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, because it's about him.
It's about him, yeah.
But yet we are supposed to accept that this book, the Quran, is about Muhammad the Prophet, and he's mentioned 4 times.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't accept that. I don't buy it. I don't accept it. I think it's false.
Sure. Okay.
I'm happy to say that on camera.
We can finish like that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
No worries.
That was good.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks.